Ladies and gentlemen of planet Earth, how are you? I am your planetary defense commander, Star-Lord New Thor 7, and today is March 2nd, 2020. And I have my rally cap on backwards, and it is definitely 100% smoke 'em if you got 'em. And let me say that the majority of everything I will say and do in this video should be some type of a message or realistic performance art. I would like to give thanks to Colin Yost and Che on Saturday Night Live. They're part of the motivation for this skit because, like, during the weekend update, he was like, "Oh man," you know, and then he was like, "Why am I trying to hide my drinking problem?" And the thing is, I've never had a drinking problem, but my drinking has been way up through February, and now we are into March Madness. No, I read you the Nostradamus shit several times. It didn't stick well outside of Asteroid Fight Club. And so today I woke up with pain in my stomach and what feels like a fever. So who knows? I might have it. Am I being a drama queen? Maybe. Lord, let me be funny then. And so, at this point, I've done everything I can to tell y'all what could possibly come our way. And that I thank y'all from my heart that I've been able to prep up extremely decently, especially compared to what I think is the majority of people who aren't taking this too seriously because social networking and the media pumps out mixed messages all day long. And so I read a report that said whiskey, oh, I don't know if it's strong enough, will fight viruses, dude. And anytime I got a cold or flu, since I was like 20 ish, one of the nights I would drink too much whiskey and NyQuil to have it attack whatever the flu or virus was. So, because I have a fever and an ulcer, I am going to take 2 shots of whiskey. And I recommend in your preparations, if you can afford it, you also have some whiskey on hand. And this was a shot class given to me by somebody. Forrest, one of the coolest dudes I've ever met. It's a very interesting shot glass, though. Here's to good love, good health, good times, and the best future we've ever seen together on planet Earth. Ooh! Okay, and then you do that thing where, as the whiskey burns down, you feel it go through. And then with your mind and your imagination, you push particles of it out to every single atom in your body. The tips of your fingers, through your elbows, your shoulders, through your hips, your knees, the back of the knees. And you remind every single particle of your body that you remember that every single one of them is alive. And then you high five your own body with that shot of whiskey. Look, man, we're in March now. And so, what I like to do best at Thor News is be ahead of the curve. Whether it be a hurricane, 2 weeks out, a week out, 5 days out, anything I can do to help y'all prepare for whatever Asteroid Fight Club event we have. I love being able to get you guys ready for whatever's coming. And so I spent all last month going, get ready. And technically, the last 4 or 5 years. Now it is here. And that a lot of people have their own opinions on this. And from my time on Earth, we don't know much about it. It's been here for 7 weeks on Earth or more. We've seen it cause governments to do things they've never done in the modern age. And so, if you have your own theories on what this is and what this will do, I think you got to ask yourself, hey man, like China shut down a third to 50% of its own country. South Korea has shut down parts of its country. Italy has shut down parts of its country. And so they've halted and pretty much stopped their own economies. And so that seems like a pretty big deal. And that not only while stopping and locking down their own people, they've done it in such a quick, abrupt, mistakes were made along the way, no matter what. And so a lot of people are upset with not only the event, but then how it was handled. So you've taken a major hit to your global economy. You've caused a lot of unhappy people to be more unhappy as this thing spreads rapidly. I don't know how closely you've been following it, but every single country has kind of handled it in different ways. From flat out lying and not admitting that it's even there. Some people have accused Egypt of doing that. I'm not going to accuse anybody of anything today. Oh, yeah, it reminds me. If you just joined us, it is the first ever Asteroid Fight Club Whiskey Parade. And because I woke up with either an ulcer or a stomach ache and a fever, I believe in the healing power of whiskey. And so, I'm drinking 2 shots of whiskey on air for any y'all. And because it's March 2nd, we watched deaths shoot up from 1 to 6. And technically, the soft lockdown has begun. They've now closed 48 schools in the state of Washington. So, 48 sets of parents have to now figure out what do we do with our children in our working environment now that they won't be going to school for a week or so. Cheers to God, Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit, all the good men and women that came before us, all the good people, all the great animals, the wonderful planet itself, the sky, the stars, the sun, the moon, cool people, and a better future. Plus, love. So there you go. That was totally for medicinal purposes, bro. So can I tell you a story? Because that's the whole point of this. Like, sometimes I need people to talk to, and you're the only person I can talk to, man. So I'm glad you're such a good listener. So today, to finish up my preparations for March, I had to go get a money order, pay rent. Thank y'all very, 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 very much that this domain and workspace will remain mine, the foxhole, through March. And then I had to get the bottle of whiskey. And I got a 6-pack of beer just because at some point I got to get beer up. Probably soon. And so the gas station was filled. And then as I was walking back from the gas station to the backs of the buildings in the strip mall, there was a cop sitting there in the cop car, 2 of them. And then there were 2 cops sitting in a big Houston police SUV. And I was wearing my Stay Cool sunglasses. So I just walked up to the front of both cars. They're sitting in them. I go, "Excuse me, gentlemen, can I ask you a question?" And they were like, "Sure." I was like, "I, as Thor of Thor News on the YouTubes, who has covered the coronavirus extremely well for a month, would like to know what you guys have been told as far as the future of how the coronavirus will be handled if it breaks out in Houston." And they were like, "Oh, they haven't brought it up." And I was like, "All right. That's all I want to know. Thank you. God bless y'all. May you stay safe. I love Texas Blue. Um, you don't have to like the police, but I love them. Most of the cops I've known have been super cool. Sorry if you haven't had that experience." And so, though elements of our government have been talking about a week how super prepared we are, I totally disagree, man. That there have been an outstanding number of things that the system itself in capitalism only gets away with it because it has been functioning in its own safe vacuum. And that if you change any of the variables in that vacuum, capitalism and socialism and communism will all break down completely. And that, look, I hope and I pray that this thing just stops like that. Like tomorrow, it's a hoax. You know, on my YouTube page, on my personal Facebook page, from friends I knew from high school are like, "Yo, Francis, don't worry about it, man. This thing's just like the flu, bro." I'm like, "Look, you can bet however you want to bet with your life, because we all do some type of danger and damage mitigation throughout life. But I have seen nothing about this that makes me take it lightly. You know, and even in the flu analogy, when was the last time you heard of 7 people dying on a cruise ship because of the flu or for any reason? Like they fell off the side, or, you know, they got eaten by giant whales, or terrorists parachuted in. Like the amount of times I've heard 7 people die in a cruise ship has been extremely rare since I've been an adult in the information age. And if we understand the data correctly, coming out of Washington State, killed like 6 and 14. I don't know. The numbers are so bizarre at a nursing home. And I don't know if you saw the press conference on Friday where the one dude, was he the CDC guy? He might have been. He referred to humans as expiring. He's like, "Well, she expired. Like she was a fucking carton of milk, man." And then he was basically like, "Hey, man, if you aren't over 65, you don't have any pre-existing conditions, you're safe." And I was like, "Whoa." You know, I know a lot of cool people, not a lot, but I know several people over 65 that I think are wonderful people and I think make Earth a better place. And so at no point have I been willing to sacrifice the rich, the old, poor, even the people who are really bad at learning stuff or talking to other people. Like, try not to sacrifice anybody. So to take a cavalier attitude like that, especially when the president, the Biden, and the Sanders are in the like virus range, is just super bizarre. Yeah. And so if you're just joining us, I drank 2 shots of whiskey because I'm feeling a little fever, and they say whiskey can help stunt viruses. And as a Viking I've been pro whiskey. It's something magical and special my whole life. And so crazy days. And, I think they put it all off to get to Super Tuesday or whatever. I don't know, you know what else is freaky? Because this is just me and you, man. This is a personal relationship. You're my buddy. This is a YouTuber with YouTube. Like, I can't be held in court for the shit I'm saying right now. You can't, like bring down lawsuits for what I said today, because this is like doctor-client privilege. And I'm the client and you are my doctor listening to me. Anyway, I'm a vape. Shit, it's wild. Yeah. So I definitely think I've helped y'all prepare decently over the last month. Out of all the information I could have given out and worked on and passed your way, I think I did a good job. And I know people are like, you got a big ego. Like, well, no, I'm still super humble, but I think my skill set is pretty super cool, awesome, amazing. Like, I wish people made videos like I did. Not necessarily the like weather shit or the virus shit, but all the shit that before the world just became a super battle, spiritual war fest all day, every day, and Planetary Defense Commander left no time for fun and games. Was it talking about? Oh yeah, vaping. Maybe this gonna kill me. Oh, rally cat. I mean, we don't have the numbers because we haven't tested that there have been several barriers, just like me, Thor News, on my YouTube channel over the last 7 years. I don't know if you know this, but my channel itself has had walls around it, whether it be on views or subscribers. And so no matter how hard I worked or what video I made or how good I did or what I worked on, I could never get out of my little cage, right? And so that same thought process has worked with the COVID testing kits. That for the last 6 weeks, no matter how hard doctors or hospitals or people in the city or townsmen worked, like, let's get us some kits so we can test people and be prepared ahead of time. Nobody could break through those walls. You get that? Like, for whatever reason, up until Super Tuesday, the kits have not been readily available to every single hospital in the United States. I mean, shit, if you were really good at production, you could put them out in freaking gas stations for like $2. So you didn't have to go to a doctor. Well, I don't even know. So then you got sick people walking into hospitals, and the hospitals aren't even ready for like this. You might have coronavirus corridor where like try not to get everybody else sick. So this is the weirdest. I mean, definitely it is strange. So I'm not giving up any hope, because for me personally, it's been like the world's exploding around me and machine gun fire, and I got ninjas diving trying to stab me, and super beautiful women trying to run me over there in their cars at 200 miles per hour, or waking up in a helicopter and people throwing me out. And every time I live somehow. So that's my biggest fear, is that whatever this is, I'm gonna live. But then it's just gonna get extra shittier. And I'm no fan of that. Man, it has been one hell of an endurance test just for the last 5 fucking years. Hear everybody jawbone about politics all the time, like it was going to mount to a hill of beans versus a fire in 2020. Like, what did all your cheerleading by us? I ain't mad though. I'm just letting it all out. So, on these non-official whiskey parades, I can, talk to the public properly. This is me time. I have that thing like every month during a fundraiser until the 3rd, I get to be like, oh yeah, not only do I have to raise money, but I get to rebel against people watching me, just to remind myself that I started the channel so that I could make videos about whatever I wanted to. So until the 3rd, I'm allowed to do what I want, say what I want on my videos. That deal has been in place for a long time. And like on Saturday Night Live with Che and Colin Jost, where he took off his hat and he's drinking. He was like, hey, Colin, did you hear I might have a kid? it was super. Colin Jost and Che are fan fucking tastic. And I think they should play Power Man and Iron Fist in the Disney MCU if the whole world doesn't fall apart. And I love gay people. But Disney's had a weird war with me. Where like I'm like, we should make a cool ass Disney romantic comedy. And then they were like, Cyclops and Wolverine are now dating, and all the X-Men women totally hate men. And I was like, well, so who knows what they're gonna do with the MCU? And I get, dude, like, me telling you, I'm 2 shots of whiskey and a beer in. Well, I haven't drank a beer yet. Maybe I have a problem with don't like that div. Wolverine and Cyclops dating, but I guess if it makes them both happy, then I'm all for it, buddies. You know, what a weird world, man. Cool straight guys have gotten a bum rap the last few years. There are cool straight guys. That's all I'm saying. And I've said many times, and I don't want to piss anybody off, but it's whiskey. They're like gays get picked on, but it's like usually, the Bible says gays is sin and divorce is a sin and greed is a fucking sin. So I'll let God decide all that shit. But gay people usually have a better sense of humor than divorced people. So I guess that's why if I had to choose a group, you know. Okay, now it's said dumb shit, so I should definitely drink some beer and vape some more. I love you all. I'm trying to tell jokes. It's probably not working. Oh, shucks. Dang it, Saturday Night Live, you fucked me up. I love Saturday Night Live. I always have. Okay, you guys see the Eddie Murphy Christmas? It was like, polar bears eating everybody. It was wonderful. Doesn't matter what my name is. So that's what it is, dude. Polar bear, invisible little polar bears are now eating some people. And so the CDC guys talking about the coronavirus, he's like, look, if you are healthy and under 65, you ain't really got to worry about it. Although there are one-offs where like a 20-year-old be walking and just die. Can't explain it. Life's weird. Also, the market should calm down and the Federal Reserve needs to drop rates to negative. And so I figured it out. Like, let's say the president, the Federal Reserve, and Congress gave everybody $1,000 tomorrow. You know how much that would cost? 377 billion. I think you guys check my math. But Hong Kong did this shit where it gave everybody $1,200. I was like, that's a pretty cool move, man. And it's strange how in America, if a man or woman just wants to get food and the government helps, that is a sin. And you're a bad person. But if a bank or corporation needs to be bailed out or needs help just to keep their stock at super high fucking prices so they can buy them back, that is super cool capitalism, man. Right? And so what I've been talking about for 2 years is when I do some form of quantitative easing again, it is best to make sure that the people get a piece of that pie because it's your debt. And so we know that the central banks, okay, you want to know why the stock market bounced so high today, bro? The Bank of Japan bought like 800 yen, million yen, billion yen, I don't know. And I don't know the yen transfer number of exchange traded funds. The Bank of Japan went in the global markets, bought some ETFs, bro. That is where we're at. I want to drink a third shot of whiskey, but Fudge! That seems highly irresponsible right now. Remember, if you're just joining this is a friendly hangout, and you are my friend slash psychiatrist. Where I'm like, Doc, dude, work has gotten nuts. It's like things are crazy. So I need somebody to talk to get it all out, so I can go back to being really good at my job and conveying dangerous information to people. But we're in soft lockdown. After me having to repeat the fact that we've had it 10% of the population in lockdown, well, your government's like, stay home, dude. And I am single. As far as I know, I don't have any children, and I've definitely never been married. But I've been around a lot of people who got married and then had kids. Some of them got divorced, some of them did not. The number favors the people who got divorced. They were like, hey, I made a mistake. I'd like to change this shit. Sorry, God, I take it back. This is not the one I wanted. And these are all jokes. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's fucking feelings here. But I'm just saying, and all the things I got to envision, it's like, then they got to decide, all right, if we are going into lockdown, who gets the kids for the month or the 2 weeks? Like, and I've been saying, y'all need to figure that out a month ahead of time, 2 weeks ahead of time, because we know lockdowns are coming. Because I believe our government's response has been D- at best. I put it in F territory now, but I don't want to piss anybody off because a lot of people out there are snowflakes. I get that you've turned something into your own religion, and where I talk about Jesus Christ or even Wolverine, that's how you view your own political party or political person. And so, me saying that certain politician has made a mistake or not done as well as he can to certain people is the same of me drawing a picture of Allah. Like, if I dare say our president could have done a better job at a single thing, people are like, you are wrong. He did the best you could fucking do, and there's no improvement anywhere room. I'm like, all right, bro. Where I'm like, it's inevitable. And everybody's like, it's inevitable. And then he's like, it's not inevitable. And even like the people who are like, dude, it's just a flu. Okay. Well, I had whiskey sober. Like, my mom's over 70. Forrest, one of the coolest human beings, one of the best people I've ever known at conversation and teaching me things. I think he's over 70. They're like, I don't want to. We've already lost so many motherfucking people, including my stepdad, my dad, like William Goldman Stand, like Prince, Tom Petty, like, I don't know. We are going to lose a lot of fucking people. I'm taking a third shot for that. Cheers to Che and Colin and the whole SNL gang. Anybody out there who's ever funny, even for one fucking joke. Cheers to everyone who ever made me laugh. It's hard to make me laugh, bro. Cheers to the peacemakers, the Prince of Peace, and 1,000 years of peace on earth, where everything gets better all the time. Yeah, as I said at the start of this thing, you ain't never seen me pull up and slam 3 shots of whiskey while drinking a beer and vaping during a fundraiser ever. And my strategy is, and I'm wearing a red Star Wars shirt. Subconsciously, it's red, 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 red alert. Oh, but I smell so bad. This is like rosy shit. I don't know. Now I smell way better. But I can put a stop to that for sure. And so I've been trying to figure out a way to explain to people, like, we're just gonna have to disagree. And then I'm convinced that whatever you're trying to tell me is totally wrong or doesn't line up with what I believe. So I don't want to hear it anymore. But as you have known, my strategy is always to be over prepared or prepared. And so one of the first things we saw, and this is the shit that like I think about. This is me off the clock talking to y'all about like the first step, not only the fucked up tests, was like, oh, but if you do want to get tested, the test is $4,000. Hey man, medical companies got to make back their R&D, bro. You know, you can't get money. You can't get medicine. You can't get medicine improvements unless companies have untold billions to buy back stock and put it into research and development, plus proper return of investment. Okay, let me sidebar. So I'd mentioned before, I went to the store and I ended up with a new Black Mirror. I got the iPhone with the like super mega I'm in the future cameras. But as soon as I bought it, I turned it off. Because they hack into my shit on like multi levels at all times super fast. No matter what I get. But I promised Michael, Archangel, Viking Marine, and the Hopi Warrior Princess that I would get on Instagram. So I had to like turn it. It took me 2 days to work up the nerve to be like, I will fight you or play defense, digital warriors and digital world and the Apple side of the artificial intelligence. You know, like that book Ender's Game, where Ender has to play a video game every day against the buggers. I spilled my beer. Total fucking party foul. What's it talking about? Oh, but I guess Ender's Game, the virus is a lot like the buggers, except instead of being in spaceships, they're just super tiny. They're nano attacking. Aliens has been such a corrupted word. And I have never liked the idea of calling human beings aliens. I bet aliens pulled that shit off, man. But it was the fucking Martians who were like, we got an idea. An easier way for us to get into your planet and then heat that motherfucker up to where our reptilian self are like, this is totally comfortable. Is to get them to call humans aliens. And that way, nobody be looking when us Martians totally slip through our door. Mostly starting in the 60s, but then definitely 94 and beyond. Or maybe those dudes on YouTube who mentioned that people live inside the earth were right. And now hear a horn honking. And sometimes the universe speaks. But if you're just joining us, I'm trying to make a point. But like seriously, I have a feverish and I felt really sick when I woke up, but I have empathy, so that could be a million motherfucking things. But we have had 7 weeks to prepare. I, as your planetary defense commander, like if I was in charge of the world or just America or even Texas, there are 1,000 things I could have done to help y'all prepare for what we are dealing with. 1,000 times better than the people who are sitting in fucking office now. All right, let's get to the heavy shit because I love you. That did spill beer though. That is totally a party foul. What do with my glasses? Oh, I know that. Also, okay, so here's the deal, man. I'm gonna tell you honestly because it is whiskey beer time. It is a whiskey parade, and as I believe I've earned the right to talk to y'all honestly as a friend in this weird stage. And so I think when I spent 2 nights with Taylor, I was about 233 pounds, maybe 238. And then the next 2 years were fucking horrible, where I was just under attack all the time from all sides for all reasons, not just because of her, but because of tons of other shit. And so I stayed here all the time, and I would comfort eat. You know, like when shit is down, hell yeah, like Little Debbie snack cakes are delicious. Like what are they called? The yellow zingers. Zingers are great. And I still need to send Mike his T-shirt. Still need to send 7 people a T-shirt. I'm not dying to go to hell because I didn't get those 7 T-shirts off. Yeah, dude, who knows what's gonna happen? And you know what really creeped me out? Okay, our president has been like Xi, the leader of China. He's been totally honest and he's done a great job. And I'm not saying he's not, but I understand that when at the beginning when it started, there used to be a lot more citizen videos on the internet that I could look at to assess. And I didn't know if they were like deep faked or Adobe After Effects or if they were real. And but they pretty much shut down 2.5 weeks ago. You didn't get those no more. Like they shut down all the gates to all the things to where whatever was happening in China was not making it to the United States of America. That the first doctor who was like, hey, we got a big crisis on our hands, he died. And some people believe he died from mercury poisoning and he didn't die from the virus. I don't know what to believe. He died from what I understand. And that the best people who were reporting it live at the time, all of them are gone. And so I've been here representing everyone and Earth and the poor and the middle class and even the rich. And so when our government goes to overcorrect on its response crisis that has been breaking, we will be in a partial lawless area. And so our president at the time has mentioned multiple times that he might be president for 25 years. He might be president for 1,000 years. And they have made incredible advances in medicine and technology in the last 20 years. And so he's really looking at like Earth, like, and he's one of the like kingly kings where he's going to live for 1,000 years, and it's when the where you divide the pharaohs from the people. Some of them get thrown in the volcano. So I'm saying I don't know how deep his I am king goes because there are always multiple kings and queens on earth. Technically, we're all kings and queens of our own domain in our own life. Uh, so yeah. Oh yeah, man. Now I want more whiskey because we've got the fucking furnace, and any military man or woman out there knows what I'm talking about. Theater of war versus real war versus lives lost, whether it be blowback, casual, like real dead is real dead, man. And that the human furnace, if we are to believe what is not being told to us, at some point they're having either so many bodies burned that they have to run a furnace with or without family permission, where humans are being burned, or if it is some type of out of control or just brand new CERN type particle collider bioweapon slash bat snake thing from another dimension, they just think it's best to burn the parts. And so we've all, what is it? Like Mordor, you have the tower and the volcano. Volcano's a furnace. The tower is the like, we see everything. And we write the script. They say the pen is mightier than the sword. I have a hammer, a lot of pens, and a lot of pencils. And I have no idea what is going to happen. I have no idea what is happening. But though I am proud of myself because we lost 5,000 people in Maria. And just on the coronavirus alone, we are at 3,000. And so I could step down. I got, as far as I know, I still got $650 to go on my monthly requested I am Planetary Defense Commander for all y'all and everything. And so technically, if that is not met, I could step down. But like I said, for all the soldiers and good people and first responders out there, I ain't a quitter. So I'm gonna do my best. Even though as high as the total goes, it can be on my shoulders. Let me say without disrespect, there's not a living Christian human being out there who can judge me. So I'm doing my best, and I've been trying to do my best for a while. And I did everything I could to get us to avoid this situation. I'm sick of losing to the devil, dude. I'm sick of losing to the dark side. And let me tell you, man, this shit goes on forever. That whatever is inside of you, your core spirit, your core mind, your core heart, that goes on forever into the future. I don't know how you've imagined heaven and beyond the living dream world or energy and matter forward, but whatever you are right now and doing goes on forward to the great curtain and wall of death. I believe whatever your final score is, it definitely affects what you are the next time. And it's been so weird because over the last month, I've had a lot of really good dreams with some of my favorite people, and some people I've never met are my favorite people. We were running around doing really cool, awesome stuff. It's mostly in large groups. And then I wake up on Earth. I'm just tired of getting our ass kicked. I'm, I'm doing the best I can. I don't know what the fuck is gonna happen in March. But I know we've lost a lot of good people before their time in the last decade. But if you're just joining us, yeah, shit is fucked up. And the technologists, a small group, have had absolute total control over what you see and when you see it. They've had control of the narrative, and politics has had 70 to 80% of all the focus of Americans and most people across the world. I mean, it's not just a weird clown show here in the United States, it's a weird clown show everywhere. And so the government, the corporations, and media are not necessarily good at telling you the truth. And that's just how it's always been done. So it's like the larger the system gets, the harder it is to go against the system and change the system until the system itself just starts collapsing and crumbling and ashifying on itself like it is now. And we're in real time game mode. And this is a doctor client privilege where, like, you are my doctor, my listener, my friend, and I am your patient client saying, hey, I gotta talk to somebody so I can get back to work. That sounds crazy. Or optimal performance. Gordon, good morning, Vietnam. And so they say the virus causes your mucus to turn into a paste. It doesn't really work with your body, which sounds about right. And that as a man, I've always been fascinated by both mucus and tears. And in the last, I don't know, 5 years, I've had this crazy ass thought. No, turn your kids away or mute it if can't handle might be considered questionable material. But like, what if any, as a man, any sperm that you like have stored up because you've not been masturbating or making love in any kind of a way or doing in the middle gets stored up in you, and that mucus kind of releases it, but in a different way after like everything has died. I don't know. I don't know what mucus is. You know, that sperm is the seed for life, but mucus has always been weird to me. And it ends up like, and then earwax, and then tears, like the main liquids, the skull, head, and eyes, like whatever color chakra the head is. All the head liquids have always fascinated the shit out of me, dude. It's like if you have like if you got to believe in a creator or a divine creator or a god or like some magic power thing that created this planet, this world, this experience before us that was much bigger and wiser and awesomer than we can be in our human form at this point, right? The eyeball and the eardrum, like the fact that those two things even exist, the eyeball and the eardrum, and I guess you want to throw on top of it the nose. Yes, I haven't been that good at smelling, so that's why I'm not holding it as high. But the eyeball, like, I don't give a fuck what Darwin or any fucking scientist out there says. Like, you don't just have like nothing explode into like light and everything, and then boom, eyeball and eardrum. Like, something willed those into life and love in the future and living, and it is wave after wave, and waves go up and waves go down, waves go up and waves go down. And I give credit to the Leo King because in his 7 years, he's a Christian astrologer, the Leo King on YouTube. He's a Christian astrologer. Who part of his 7 years, he talked about the Saturn Pluto conjunction. That was a big fucking deal. And I and a lot of other astrologers, the astrologer community is great. And I've tried to relay after seeing truth in astrology, and there is a saying that goes, millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do. I love beautiful women. All right, we know that. The sirens, right? Like that shit was happening in Greece with the sirens and the oracle and the oracles of Delphi, and then like the controllers of the sirens. Calling it either a patriarchy or a deep state is oversimplifying everything. Like we have at least, I don't know, like let's say 350 moving groups, and that there's no right now, there's no one, nobody's got control right now. All right. That the feudal pyramid is now like a lava lamp with one of those sand things where everything is kind of rearranging in real time. Where time is fluid, there's no going backwards. Okay, so I have that thing like, okay, I don't have diabetes 2 because I have not been to the doctor in, okay, back when I lived in Houston, I was 36 and I worked at a Borders, right? Borders bookstore. And I was at that time one of the best booksellers in the universe. If you walked into my store and asked for any book, I could get you and whoever you were with to your book in under a minute. All right? And so if they had bookstore employee Olympics, I was always, well, technically sometimes I'd slack off, but I'm saying going for number one. Like the greatest bookseller in the world. Because, you know, Ernest Hemingway was badass. Ayn Rand was badass. Judy Blume was badass. Books are badass. And it's the whole pen and ink, imagination, learning, teaching, sharing thing that was badass. And so, plus working at a bookstore, and I did it for 5 years. And I worked full time. This is like 2006. Wait, what was it? It was like 2004 through 2009. And I made like $880 a month when I was working full time 40 hours. And they used to tell you had to work on Christmas Eve until 8 p.m. ish. They could change it. And then you had to be back on the day after Christmas to work or you were fired. I'm getting back into the story where my dad had died in 2006. And I had worked multiple Christmases, day before, day after. And so the general manager of all the Houston, and let me tell you this, Houston is a giant city. And that New York is considered the big city, or Los Angeles is considered the big city, or even Chicago is considered the big city, because Houston likes to keep it low key, smoke and mirrors. It's not my style, but I was not born in Houston. I went to high school in Arlington. Oh, what was it talking about? Oh yeah, the bookstore. It's like working at the bookstore. I did 2 or 3 Harry Potter releases. And one of the coolest things about one of the Harry Potter release parties was that Akeem Olajuwon came into the Harry Potter release party. Well, like, not only are you having this badass event, I think this was book 6, where like everybody there is just happy. Everybody's happy to be getting the book. Like, everybody's waiting patiently in line as you are getting book 6, which will technically tear your motherfucking heart out when you're like, Dumbledore is dead and Snape killed him. No! Boom! I've mentioned many times. The only time I've thrown books across the floor were the Fountainhead, when Dominique marries Gail Wyland. I was like, women! Wow! And then when Snape killed Dumbledore, I was just like, Row! How long must I suffer like these? Whatever. How long must good guys lose? Well, if you're just joining us, this video was inspired by Colin Jost and Che on Saturday Night Live. I've been watching Saturday Night Live since I was a tiny little kid. I'm 48. And that there would be no Thor News definitely without Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd, and the whole gang. Rosanna, Dana. Was talking about? Yeah. And so, Colin Yost and Che, and let's talk about like just me, my life. This is us, we're friends. You're my psychiatrist. I'm telling you what is real. So, I made out with Taylor Swift, or one of her clones, or one of her super doubles, or one of the robots. I don't even know, man. I just know that face was real, that the lips were real, like every part of the body seemed to be totally fucking human compared against any other woman I'd ever kissed or touched my entire life. And if you were ranking them like fucking 99 Madden players, all of her scores were very high. And I'm saying this in the face of the virus. And I started this video because I had a fever and my ulcer stomach was weird, so I could die the next 2 weeks. I'm telling you that, like, right before death or whatever, like, I ain't lying to you, and I ain't lying to Jesus, I ain't lying to God, I ain't making this up, I ain't talking about this for no stupid ass motherfucking reason. Here's the deal, y'all. Here's what I want. I really want the American sitcom situation where, like, you got like 7 people and you're all hanging out for the day, or 10 or 11. And, like, I have 3 lines to say something funny, and then somebody else has 3 lines to say something funny. And then somebody else got, like, and you just keep going around in a fucking circle, man, where everybody is adding something good or positive into the conversation that is going on. Because for the last decade, what I've had way too many times is like one motherfucker be going off on something for a long motherfucking time where like 9 to 3 people sit and listen, and he is definitely not even the best person at storytelling in the motherfucking room. Usually that person, male or female, has the most amount of money or like energetic emotional clout or power, and so nobody wants to disagree with their hierarchy. But the conversation sucks. And I've talked about that, like, well, what they do to control, like, if you go back to Sun Tzu and how you control 007 and the 007 groups of agencies, agent tours, and all that shit, the people inside the inside of the people inside the inside the inside, or all that shit, that, like, no matter what, there'll never be a better secret agent than a woman. Sun Tzu talked about this motherfucking shit. Now, your media, it'd be like, you cannot talk about women and their very magic special powers because there's objectification, toxic masculinity. But Sun Tzu was like, hey, let me tell you why women are absolutely the best motherfucking secret agents you will ever have. They're also the best assassins and poisoners and agent tours. And so you combine Sun Tzu with King Arthur. Well, like, King Arthur was king. He was like the chosen one. He's given the Thor's hammer. He was really bad at choosing women, dude. And so when he had to choose his woman, it would be with his penis or his lust instead of his head and his future, or his future children and his future family. And so King Arthur had a fucked up reign and a chance where humanity had a chance to progress into the future, revolution, renaissance, in the dark motherfucking ages. All because he had bad taste in women. Yeah, shit's crazy, dude. Sun Tzu and King Arthur in March 2020, America style. Okay, so here's the thing I believe. Shh, don't tell nobody. This may get me officially crazied out, but I am the king of the Americas. And that I lead with love. And so from the tippy top, the tippy bottom, I love everybody in all the Americas in this side of the planet. Where you have like a 1 and a 2, like across, like if we just have sides of the planet, whether you want to have 4 or 2, hey, I'm the king of the Americas. I was born this way. It's just the way it is. And I try and rule like I am the most interesting man in the world. Where, man, I'm trying to reign over you with coolness and wisdom and good jokes. And at no point in time am I forcing my will or my beliefs on you. That my reign is very passive. Asterisk. I love birds and horses and dogs. Okay, so now this portion of the show. And I was feeling great on this beautiful spring I don't care what you say. 'Cause this is my personal energetic space. So please, coronavirus, get out of my face. Sit with me, we'll talk a while. I will live in your smile. La da 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 da. Asking questions I will never know. I have loved y'all the whole time. true. The entire time at Thor News, I've been a bit of a drama king. But I think I did it really well on Shakespearean levels. Or Hemingway, Spielberg, Tarantino, or Billy Joel, or Jimi Hendrix. Yeah, welcome to March 2020 Asteroid Fight Club Whiskey Parade. I'm sorry if there are far too many things I have to say. I'm gonna blame it all on Che. Okay, so, like, here's the weird thing, dude. You're my friend. We're talking like we're friends, right? Okay, so let's say if a hypothetical person, Taylor, had been on Saturday Night Live multiple times. That I'm guessing, just as a dude, that she has kissed multiple people who work or have worked for Saturday Night Live. So whatever list I'm on, it's special, but it's not that special. I mean, that's a joke. I try to tell jokes. And so you try and figure it out. So I would guess Che is one of them, but I would guess there's probably more than 5 total. Who knows, man? Do we talk about Sun Tzu? Or if you had large female groups who could subvert any group, then they would have the chance of holding any power. Whether it was the patriarchy or the patriarchy just got blamed that at any given time, while the most beautiful women, the sexiest women, the women that as men and possibly even women look at and like all of a sudden, have you ever seen a woman where like you look at her and then your dick just kind of moves? Well, like it doesn't happen a lot, but there have been those moments where like you look at that woman and you're like, what? And then your dick is like, what? Like you cannot control it. It's almost an instantaneous quantum reaction of like spooky Jackson physics where like it don't even like holy crap, I didn't even know the Matrix could produce a woman that is that amazing. So yeah, women have that power. I don't think men have it the same way, definitely. But there are people who disagree, and that's fine. You do you. I'm not here right now at this moment to hear anybody else's opinion. Doc. And so women have had a shit ton of power over the last 10 years, 20 years to do a lot of amazing things. So who are we jumping back and forth between? We're jumping back and forth between Sun Tzu, Howard Rourke, and Ayn Rand. Because what Howard Rourke did in The Fountainhead was he was just the greatest architect of all time. And that when he looked at cities and buildings and houses and things that were designed for the future, he looked at them like, not only am I giving this piece of art that is super functional and improves the life around, but it is an art piece that will inspire human beings as long as human beings are looking at it. And so that has always been one of the most influential things in my life before I just get into city building, where look, Earth has been stuck in architecture since the fucking 80s or 70s. Like we have not been allowed to make any giant architectural steps in civilizations since the 70s or 80s. And I definitely don't need anyone other than like top 0.01% opinion on architecture from the past and the future, no disrespect, because it is one of my super passion issues. So I would only like to hear from the best who understand what I'm talking about. Like if you're telling me you cannot build a giant city mountain that works with Mother Nature, or that you cannot build the greatest of things that work with the planet, then you're just not on my level. And there are a lot of architects and engineers who are on that level, and that people understand if you released all the great technologies, there are a million, like, life is like a video game. We could build whatever we want that benefits everyone all the motherfucking time. Like, if you built everything to be cool and efficient, everything would be cool and efficient. And I've been trying to wrap up whatever my system would be called over the last 20, 40 years, but it's like half socialism, at least for the next decade, and half capitalism. Though the cat out of the bag is the fact that corporations have owned all the resources, whether it be gold, silver, palladium, even Bitcoin, even land, even silver, even plastic, no matter what the fuck it is, everybody's got a giant stake. And when I say everybody, I mean like, I don't know, a group maybe 5,000 deep have a giant stake in all the resources on Earth. And then you have the other 7 billion people who have no stake in all the giant resources on Earth. It's like for every single resource we have like 3 to 5 families representing each resource. Whether it be jade, there's a family representing jade, or wood, there's like, and it's rolling down. I know that the YouTube and the disinformation, no disrespect, like tell y'all that like one person is in control and this is all being controlled. I believe we are in a situation where whatever treaty was worked on for the last 100 years that got us here is being replaced. And then we have to figure out the next thing for the next 100 years if we want to make it. Though I think it's got to be 1,000 years. We might be doing not only even another solar system, but like another motherfucking galaxy. We got a lot of motherfucking things to deal with. So technically, I guess this is why I'm here doing Thor News. March Madness Whiskey Parade. Because the simulation has spent a lot of time over the last decade convincing me there are some very cool, very talented people watching me when I speak or move or do whatever the fuck I do. And that I'm always just a floating point of wisdom. And that at any time, if you have to make a major decision about anything, during that time, I'm offering my opinion on how to go. And since I was 7 years old, I've been recommending teamwork, y'all. And the whole thing is, I'd be like, teamwork. And the whole time, most people are like, can't happen. Except for like 88 to 94. People are like, you're right, it can happen. And they killed a bunch of people. And so I guess I never really played. What is that game? Mine. What is it? The game with like 8 pixelated everything, and it's Minecraft. And so 20 years after the Y2K effect, analog, it's like half analog and half digital, bro. Like we're 20 years out of Y2K. And they're like, boom, the monolith is here. We're like, what? What does the Black Mirror even mean, man? And then 20 years into the future, you have, let's just use traditional numbers. You have your 6 Silicon Valley guys who are technically like little g gods. And then you have your 13 banking families We're like little G gods. And then you have your 60 defense, espionage, control families. And then it's like 300 great craftsman families. And then the pyramid just goes down. And so for the last 20 years, that's what it's been. And so up until about 84, it was always just the 13, everything under. But digital and living Mars on Earth and frequencies and digital information really discombobulated many things. Though I could have this totally wrong. I'm just reporting to you as a commander who is always private at heart, where if I had to storm the beaches, if I had to do the home invasion, here's the government thing, man. I don't give a fuck who you've been cheerleading for during the 7 years of Thor News, where I'm like, don't trust the actors. They're all just fancy puppets and fancy fucking, what are the thing they call them? Furries? They're like in a cat suit or robot suit. And they give them names and they're like, it's like wrestling. We're cheering for this or we're cheering for that. I don't think the politicians are the ones making the plan. If you had a video game control meter of all the RPG players, I doubt the top 10 list would be on politicians, bro. So yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen next. Spent a month going, all right, 80% is bioweapon that got out of the lab, plus particle collider, nano quark, antimatter, life hater. But it definitely seems to have a bit of a. I said this Asteroid Fight Club. I said this was a whiskey parade. Like as your planetary defense commander, no matter what meeting we were ever in at one time, as your planetary defense commander, I would bring up like, okay, please tell me what you know about Building 7. So, as I have known it, on a Thor level, T. Eric Lewison, that is my name, I was born with. Although my mom wanted to name me Tillman, Tilman. My dad was like, no, he's just T. So on my birth certificate, it had T and period. When I was growing up, I said, Mom, what does that mean? She's like, it means whatever you think it means. But like me, she can change her opinion at times. What's it talking about? Yeah, I don't even know, man. It's like with Colin Yost, who I think either married Scarlett Johansson or is about to marry her. And I've considered them absolutely, without a doubt, the coolest couple on the planet right now. Like if you could hang out, go to dinner, and do whatever, like hang out for another 3 hours later. There'll be bowling or ski shooting or hayride. Like they're the coolest motherfucking couple on the planet. They're both smart. They're both cool. They've both been through a lot, and they're both hilarious at the proper times. And so, watching Colin and Che, but like, I absolutely consider them part of Asteroid Fight Club, where everybody that you know is doing their best in the capabilities they have. Like there are a lot of people in NASA that are Asteroid Fight Club. They want to go back to the moon. They want to put up multiple cameras, telescopes. There are a lot of good people out there who want the world to get better. And somehow, Voldemort keeps kicking our asses. So on that last Saturday, Colin and Che Iron Fist and Power Man. It's like, you guys here got a kid? And you guys don't even understand. Like, at this point, like, back in the day in 2015 ish, like, I used to talk to people who worked for, like, every single one of the defense contractors. Every single one. Like, and then they would have weird conspiracy theories about me. Talking Boeing, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, like, Boston, like, at some point, they were like, hey, I'd heard a rumor that they had a like a Captain America program, but it was based on your without you having kids. I was like, oh, and it got mentioned to me multiple times, and like, well, well, if that were too true, then technically at some point we should start winning some events in the near fucking future, unless everything has been sabotaged, like I feel it's been for the last decade. I don't even know. But anyway, I'm just saying that one part where Che was like, "Do you ever got a kid?" Like, any the point where you hear like, "Oh, it's a man thing." I don't even know. And then he was like, "White woman." Women, man, women. Happy wife, happy life. I ain't found no wife yet, but I do know they closed 48 schools in Washington. The last time I turned on my fucking computer to check in, and I have been staring at that screen like if I was a USB plug, my face has been USB plugged into my laptop since December 15th. Like you wouldn't even believe. Because all the information on every single level has been just whoa. And like Dean Koontz, you talk about William Hemingway, J.D. Salinger, Ayn Rand, Frank Miller, Alan Moore, like the great writers, like the writers write the future, whether in song, novel, movie, like the Imagineers Imagineer the future. And sometimes I fear between you and I, don't tell nobody. They're like all those screenplays I wrote and the pictures I drew. Most of the times it was the battles as opposed to what happened after peace was ordained and amongst the people. So if I fucked up in that way, holy crap, I'm sorry, and I will do my best to improve it either in the future of life or whatever lives live after. Crazy. Another crazy thing is on this video right here, like if you would watch the video guys from China, I saw a couple of them that made a video like, if this is my last video, you know? And then you never heard from them again and they were gone. And so this is one of my last series of, if this is my last video, or you don't hear from me for a while. That weight has always been on me. Because the two ways to not become Planetary Defense Commander anymore is if, yeah, you guys don't get near or close to the fundraiser event to where I'm homeless and don't have electricity, or if somebody kills me. All right. Like that thing about that alchemic substance that people put in their cars, right? I'm pretty sure that shit is produced by the core of the planet. And the fact that I even tell you that most of the time throughout history, 2020 and under, could get you absolutely killed. We're talking a bullet in your brain, we're talking your throat slit, we're talking your arms chainsawed off, or like you could even get tortured. Like, I am mentioning the fact that there's a chance science, or what you know as science, or the public speakers, the preachers of science, the people who say, like, let me tell you the gospel of science. And this is exactly how science is, right? Like, even going against the people who say that oil comes from dinosaur bones, that could get a dagger in your ribs, or definitely just not a good time. Like, all the party side has always been in the like, oil comes from dinosaur bones, bro. Right? Like if you wanted to party, do cocaine off strippers, and that like live in a big house, drive fancy, like if you want to do all the fun shit, you need to be on the side of like, oil comes from dinosaur bones, bro. Right? And so as long as you were selling what the central bank currencies were backing, you're fine. But at any point in time where you're like, hey, I got a different theory than what these people are saying, they're like, what if, just for imagination science fiction sense, you were to say, hey, wouldn't it be crazy if? And they're like, no, man, no, can't. And so that's what I've had a hard time with, like knowing that if a lot of things we believe have been propped up with an untruth, then everybody's technically involved in the crime, which allows us to all go through a moment of forgiveness and step into the future. I guess that's where we're at, man. We're at the step into the future, you and I together. I'm 1 hour and 35 minutes into this whiskey parade. And I just want to say that there are a lot of people who sell absolutely negativity, or they sell like some pre-plan, like Agenda 2020 or Agenda 2030, or like Illuminati's plan here, like whatever they're laying out somebody else's plan of how this is all being constructed. I guess that means they're on their team. Because I'm still T. Eric Lewison on Team Thor News, on Team Earth, on Team Texas, on Team America, on Team the Americas, on Team Earth, on Team our motherfucking solar system. I've had dreams of being on Mars and walking around, but not just me, a whole group that was cool and funny, right? Can you even imagine having dreams where you were walking around Earth? Wait, scratch that, go backwards. Mars, and all its spectacularness with a group, and the group is funny and knows how to talk well. I've had those dreams. And it was some of the cool, like I remember years ago. I can remember today. And then you wake up on Earth, and we're still having time mastering good conversation in a local atmosphere. I don't even know. Okay, I'm now reading chat, and they're saying the risk is low in Mike Pence fever. And what I'm saying is that if I had to guess, if the data that has been represented to the public is proper, this new virus, which I would guess is a bioweapon slash particle collider slash manifested by all the anger and negativity and greed, horrible kind of demonic thing that comes around every 100 years, where it's like some type of boss you have to beat in the video game as a collective. It kills probably 2 to 4 to 10% of the people that it contracts. But if we play the game well, it will just die off in a magical, inexplicable way. Anywhere from now, well, we got to work really hard and put together the best Parks and Recreation, Leslie Knope, kick its motherfucking ass with every fucking resource we have. Robotech, like Last Battle, like We Have Come Together, Bill Murray style. Right? That would be the now event, and we are far from that. And that Nostradamus has told us July. So that we've got to survive till July. And that a razor blade of 2 to 4% over 1 year of 7.7 billion people is hundreds of billions of people. Depending on where you are, each society and civilization is going to have a what do we do with all the corpses moment. And then there's always going to be some weird dude with a weird smile on his face and some weird car that you've never seen before and some weird silver ball with a giant dagger sticking out of it going, we'll take them and we'll burn them. And then so human beings are dropping and then getting burned to whatever God, I don't know, but it is not Jesus Christ, because Jesus Christ was the Prince of Peace. And he said that all peacemakers are the children of God. And so, as it has been my burden, my challenge, my quest to figure out how to get to everybody to believe in peace and all families working together for the future, it is now your quest as well. 2020, man, it's fucking crazy. Crazy. I bet this beer is warm. Can I please say, definitely since the Taylor stuff, I've dealt with a large portion of the QAnon stuff. And if I was going to do a James Bond movie, it would have like James Bond and the multiple Qs. Anywho, so there's like an Earth Q and there's like a Martian Q. And the Martian Q don't give a fuck about human beings, bro. Trust the plan. We're now in a breaking pandemic. And it's been a 1 hour, probably 2 hours and a half since I've plugged into the Matrix to find out how the information was getting. We've had 7 weeks to prepare. There's this Sun Tzu has had a lot of influence on me over my lifetime. And so I think, if I understand correctly, one of the things Sun Tzu has talked about is that a 5-man unit. I think it's one of the reasons I loved World of Warcraft. I prefer to tank 2 DPS, one half healer, half DPS, and then 2 healers. People are like, oh, you don't even need that. You just need one good healer and 4 DPS. But we just have different styles, right? I'm a paladin. My battle cry used to be, I'm so handsome. But I don't know, I've taken a lot of scars. I may not be handsome. So what's back then? What's it talking about? I don't even know. Oh, yeah, I'm saying that when I turn that shit off, the deaths jump from like 1 to 6. And it's almost like if you look at it, like let's say you got 1 billion years, right? 1 billion years. And that for like 17% of those billion years, we are going to get to do it my way. Where everybody gets along and everything improves. And we improve tons of shit all the time. And rock and roll and music and art and architecture and conversation and love increases exponentially across the board for 1,000 years. We're going to get that 17% of the time. And I guess I feel pretty good knowing that we will get there eventually, even if it is not in this lifetime. We keep getting closer every single time. And so, in this war, spiritual war, we're all involved in, I'm going to do my best with the hand I've been dealt. And President Trump had said, we're going to order all elements of medical. And I have taken guesses several times that I might be an element, like thorium. I don't even know. But I think I'll survive. Pretty sure. And that I would guess 70% chance this is an uncontrolled event, and 30% chance it's a controlled event where they're depopulating all. They're like, if you're looking at it, no offense to accountants, but as a bean counter, and that you were just going to wipe out all the people who would have put a drag on your profit margin over the next 10 years of the baby boomers. You know, if it's just going to wipe out the people who would put a drag on the profit margin of the healthcare companies, then yeah, sure, there is a definitely decent chance that this is controlled. And I believe I have watched in the last 5 years multiple people that I know and loved and believe made Earth a much better place end up on some accountant's bottom line by allowing the local or state or national healthcare system to go into their care for an extended amount of time. And I had mentioned several times on Thor News that there's a thing called corporate owned life insurance, where a corporation could insure that person. If that person died, the corporation won the money. on that same vein, there's a new crypto coin that supposedly is going to rise with the number of deaths that happen. And so, if you understand Jesus Christ like I do, at one point, he went in and kicked over all the tables in the money changing place, which would be currencies. Like there are 400 different currencies on the planet. And then they killed him. And so we are at that place where there's a Aztecian nihilist feel to where there are several people who would be happy to get rid of millions of people to benefit themselves. I've discussed it many times. I've stood against it every single time. And I've even lamented that, like, if you're going up against Skull Tower, you cannot kill. You cannot just give a list to the military of the people you think are harming Earth the most and then have them killed and then win, right? That has been, if you're talking giant steps into civilization, you cannot do that. You cannot use the negative to get to the positive. And so, at no point in time can I do that. So you got a lot of people who would sacrifice a lot of people, and then like me, who can't sacrifice anyone, and it's like a fucking chess game, man. All right? And definitely at this point, I'm a little ahead. Because this is, if I am correct, it's an uncontrolled event and nobody knows. Jack Welch is dead. The GE NBC guy, gone. Who was the other one? The guy who did the PBS show. They announced today he's dead. And so if this virus thingy, particle collider anti-quark, has been running around for 7 to 8 weeks, I've mentioned that the most rich and famous and connected are tight groups. And it's hard to give them good information on how to prepare themselves. The Pope is sick. Pope's been canceling all his events. And honestly, as your planetary defense commander, if I was going to be handed the king for Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, and Donald Trump, I would have pulled them out of any type of public activity in fucking January, man. Like, you would not have been allowed, like, if I was just here to protect you and keep you alive, you wouldn't have been able to leave above ground a long motherfucking time. And I believe for a while that like the Trump they have at the rallies is like a copy, or not a drone or a clone, but like an impersonator. But with everything that's going on, I thought, hey, what if he just loves the yell of the crowd? Because to having like 80,000 people scream, Thor news, Thor news, Thor news. Imagine I'd be like, whoo, I'm definitely getting to rub a booty for luck tonight. You know what I'm saying? And so, if you are in that position where you're surrounded by yes men, nobody can tell you no, right? You don't, if you think you're the best at everything, when there be viruses, the economics, like, if then that's never been my style. Then, like, he's really running around telling his stories, just like I'm doing to you, to 1,000 people a day, 2,000 people a day. He's doing the same thing, where he just think, hey, it's cool that I get to talk to all these people, and all these people love me and send me love. I get it. But as your king of the hand, like, they've been pimping you out, bitch. Like, I would have pulled you back a long time ago. And so I do not know a lot of risks have been taken. The Stroke song, a lot of bad decisions have been made. And that I don't want to lose anybody. And that I do not think a good vaccine will show up. So it's either survive till July or finally put some form of Asteroid Fight Club together and attack this motherfucking thing on every single level. Because I think it's going to spread across Earth and then do like a second pass. And then never once in my heart have I given up on y'all or Earth or the planet, or would I kneel before any other alien or Illuminati or anyone. That, like, selling y'all out is not my thing. But I would like to be part of ending the practice where the good men and women and prophets who get tortured or die for being good ends. That the sacrifice period is over. I mean, what did John the Baptist get beheaded? Jesus got nailed. Ace River. Story Ray Jones. That shit ain't cool no more, man. We have evolved. We have stepped up. It's like me versus ancient electricity. Anywho, so these thoughts are part of the reason why I haven't been that big on politics, because I've known a lot of shit for a long time. So I've done my best to stand up in town square across the globe over the last 7 years and lead us to a place of winnership, 1,000 years of peace on earth. Man, I need y'all to level up. Can't believe I spilled beer. Play some music in the background. All right. Have I already talked about the iPhone? I think I have. Digital is crazy, man. I'm definitely Generation X and analog. Digital is crazy. Un momento. Crap. Whoa. My hat. Pause it. Eiffel Tower. Representation of the oil rigs that would then run across America as they sent us the Statue of Liberty, and oil would dominate the United States of America, controlled from Europe. February. Among the great ones, discord to arise. The tall cleric will plot a great event. New sex to place in hatred and discord. War and change to injure all people. War and change to injure all people. The final sentence of Nostradamus' 1565 presage for February. And now we move to March, my friend. Secret conspiracy. Perilous change. Perilous change. Factions to conspire secretly. Rains. Great winds. Plagues. For the proud ones. Rivers to overflow. Pestiferous actions. That is Mars. Asteroid Fight Club. Yeah. I appreciate you being the greatest of the great, the coolest of the cool, the smartest of the smart, and the wisest of the wise. And this is every single thing I prepared us for. And they say love always finds a way. Life always finds a way. I believe that. God is great. But we've been in the oil and deception economy for quite a while. And so it's like literally you have every god, demon, or man, hero, woman that was anything of significance on every planet that existed in our solar system re-showing up, reborn now for this timeline. It's really crazy. Like I've always said, I'm new Thor 7. I'm not the original. Several have come before me, and several will come after me. I just hope to do the best I can, man. And in many ways, Jesus is a lot like Balder. Where Balder was just a really cool, really great, super loving, super awesome guy, and he had to pay for the sins of others. So I am part of whatever energetic force that represents all goodness, all good things, all good people. I'm cool with that. But I get cocky sometimes. Sometimes people are like, you need to find Jesus or Yahweh or whatever you call him. I'm like, yo, bitches, you ain't think I know? For a minute there, I lost myself. I lost myself. For a minute there, I lost myself. All right, if you're just joining us, let me update you. They say that whiskey combats the virus. And as a Viking, I believe that. And so today, I woke up with a stomach pain and a fever. And so I went and bought this $20 bottle of Benchmark 8. And I've been drinking it during this live stream. Plus, this is a conversation. You are my psychiatrist, my guidance counselor. So we have a doctor-patient lockdown thing going on. Right, I just need to let it all out the best way I can so I can get back to work. In danger, risk communication to all people on earth, whoever they will let me get to. And as a Sagittarius, Capricorn, Gemini, I'm going to take every single burst of pure optimism and delusions of grandeur possible. I do not know how many seconds I have on this earth. You do not know how many seconds you have on this earth. But if I'm following my own advice, that through following the astrology, Amber Khan, the Leo King, and Astrolata, that like on the 9th month, it has maximum ability to improve on all levels. And so that I think we were watching like some weird 9/11 moment, though I don't at this point believe it's controlled. I could be wrong. Where instead of just watching 2 buildings and then building 7 come down, we're literally watching capitalism come down, communism come down, socialism come down, nihilism come down. Like everything is like woo. And that I believe I will survive. A lot of y'all will survive, and we will have a chance to build something way better. And that amongst all this death is the opportunity for a great life in the future. Hey, let me tell you, since this is just like me and you hanging out, chilling, friend, doctor style, I've always wanted to have kids, man. And sorry, ladies, but definitely, I've at least wanted to have one or two boys, where like you could pass on, they're like, you gotta be tough, you gotta be cool, you gotta be smart, you gotta be funny. That whole thing where like you get your own kid to like have a Jedi warrior, like you're officially being trained to be a Jedi John Wick. Right? Because I always fear that, like, as far as like, I have really, 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 really great taste in women. Like, for whatever reason, I'm really attracted to the absolute most beautiful woman on the planet. And so, my dad and mom were super handsome and beautiful. And then when I was younger, I was super handsome. And so I've always believed that my daughter, if you include the woman that I got to pick to create my daughter, and I picked her very wisely, would be just the most gorgeous girl you've ever seen on the planet. She'd probably be too gorgeous for Earth. What's he talking about? I know, crazy shit, man. Like I said, you do you. I've given you a lot of advice over the last 7 years of how to handle 2020. And shit is fucking crazy. And if you saw the video I pulled on earlier, Charlie Rose. Was it Charlie Rose that died? No, it's the other dude. Like literally, they had Welch die. They had like Jack Welch, who I would think 30 Rock is one of my favorite, most influential shows of all time. And that Alec Baldwin's character, who's super fascinating, awesome, amazing, and a Republican microscope. Like that's the Jack Welch School of Jedi training, right? So he died. Nobody said, hey, did he have the coronavirus? And then the like PBS inside studio guy died today. And they're like, hey, nobody said, hey, did he have the coronavirus? But I mean, it's not like they would tell us because we've been doing everything we can as a media to not discuss the actual numbers for a while, and government. And so the Pope has been like, holy shit, I got to cancel all my events. So it's just weird. Everything is fucking weird. And honestly, I've been like work, 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 forever. I think I might have gone a little crazy, doctor. But as I said before, damn, I'm tired of getting our fucking asses kicked on a collective level. So I don't know what's gonna happen. But for a month, I've been telling y'all to stock up on food, groceries, medicine, mentally, spiritually, vitamin C, sunlight. That's our later. And I do not like if I was going to treat this like a category 5 hurricane or category 7 or 8 hurricane, a month later, I do not regret telling y'all that through this Nostradamus passage of March, secret conspiracy, perilous change, factions to conspire secretly, rains, great winds, plagues for proud ones. And plagues for proud ones is always spoke straight to my heart like a fucking arrow. And looking back with 2020 vision, the USA was proud, Egypt was proud, Iran was proud. India was proud. Like all the people who are not programmed to say we have made a mistake or we have a problem coming. The groups that have been programmed to say everything is great, they would get the plague. In some way, shape, or form, I've told y'all that almost every single day through February because I believed it. And now we are here. And I am drunk on whiskey and beer. And I think this is a record motherfucking level for the amount of drunk I've been in front of y'all on camera live. But as I said at the beginning of this thing, everything I do was doing for a purpose, and there's a symbolism behind it. And so before I get back to work of staring at how many more people are infected, not only in the United States of America, as the kits start to show up, or in Canada, or South America, Central America, across the world, we're in weird, dangerous territory. But that I thank all of y'all, every single one of you, in Asteroid Fight Club, who has been cool and done what they could to be cool. Anytime you even like drifted off the reservation and came back and were like, yeah, I'm sorry. We all had those moments, man. We all said shit we regret. We all had moments of weakness where our ego or our insecurity got the best of us. Like, I wish you and your family would die. Like, the darkest parts of all of our insides have come out over the last 5 years, absolutely for sure. But words are just words, man. At the end of the day, words don't kill nobody, and words don't infect nobody. And that we have made it this far together in 2020. And so, as I've been talking about the whole time at Thorn News, if we work together, we can win. If we don't work together, I still believe at the end of the day, the good guys will win. That the people who have enjoyed greed or enjoyed schadenfreude or have enjoyed the worst parts of humanity and civilization, their era is coming to a close fast. And that so either way, I shall win. And I love you. And I would definitely prefer to win together. All right, so I'm going to jump ahead to a position of it is always best if you have to go 100 miles on your feet to be able to see where you will get to 100 miles from now. We're going to go to Nostradamus' presage, July. Hail, rust, and great plagues. To preserve women, they will be the cause of the noise. Death of several plagues. So, I don't know if I'm misinterpreting that or getting too optimistic, but that is the month I would be prepared to survive through the virus situation. Trump has alluded to April. I would think on some type of left, right, left, up, down, circle, square, circle, circle, square, triangle, triangle, triangle. Like if we could do it perfectly, we could kill it motherfucking now. Like anytime you can unite all the forces and then just robo take it out, it's possible now. So between now and July is when I'm asking everybody to survive to. And between those times, to work together as a team. But this was the one year where Nostradamus had talked about monthly plague in multiple months, where the plague or virus dominated the year. Out of all the presages he did, where he lists January through December, this was the one year, 1965 or 1565. Ooh. And so far, it is shown through and true like a weird, creepy Cassandra, Nostradamus, Revelations fashion. And that I've had the chance to communicate to some of the finest people on the planet. And I feel extremely grateful for that. And that I have faith. It's like Johnny Appleseed. I'm like Johnny Thorseed. Like all we got to do to win is to work together and to be honest. And for lack of a better definition, it is like half socialism and half capitalism. Where if you provide the very basics that any dog, cat, deer, horse, bird would need, and human being, food, healthcare, place to live, and the basics, you would still have a quadrillion dollars worth of stuff that the movers and shakers, if they wanted to play a chess game with, could still play that chess game. And that all the families from the 13 to the 6 to the 300 and everybody underneath, they're like, even if they only gave up 50% of everything they had, we're talking land, resources, A, they would never feel that. And B, that would be enough to provide everything. And it would allow us to get to an exponential place of abundance, not only in our planet, but our short lower atmosphere, meaning the moon, and then beyond. But as far as I know, from defensive contractor levels, we might have some fucking human killing and eating aliens coming towards us within the next 20 fucking years, where we gotta fight aliens who would eat us, kill us, capture us within the next 20 motherfucking years. And those same things can send GRBs, giant radiation bursts, radio bursts, to where people can read them out and they can give blueprints and technologies to technically bribe the people who are already here. And then tell them, when we get there, you're on our team and we will take care of you in the People Zoo. But when they get here, they don't have to honor their word. I don't know, man. It has all been so complicated, confusing, and I do my best every single day to bring it to you. And as my mom says, I love it. Wave after wave after wave. So, 2 hours, 20 minutes of drunken madness on this whiskey parade. Hold on. Oh my God. Roar!